What's up, everybody? We're about to jump in and watch me play some match of Infiltration on Scariff Beach for the new Rogue One Scariff DLC pack for Star Wars Battlefront. It's the final DLC pack. It also came out the same day Star Wars VR Rogue One mission came out, but we'll get to that in a moment. I want to quickly discuss the DLC itself and then quickly go over some of the interesting things I spotted about the DLC, the map, and some upcoming Rogue One movie news and stuff like that. We're just going to talk Star Wars all based around this map. You can watch me play the Scariff stuff in the background here. We're going to watch this match. It's pretty fun. So the DLC is based off the attack on Scariff in the film, presumably. You see shots in the trailer of X-Wings firing upon ships. In the new TV spot, you see a whole heap of ships, including one real special one sitting down the bottom. We'll get to that in a moment too. A whole heap of ships sitting there waiting to see what's going to happen. So presumably this is based upon that part. How close it is to it, I don't know. Is there a heap of Star Destroyers there? I'm going to take the fact, because the start of this mission here, you have to you have to make two U-wings have to make their way through that little shield barrier thing you see on the past the Star Destroyers there, and then you get two U-wings through there as the rebels to proceed. So presumably in the film it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have all the rebels gathered together and they're just going to go, you need to get Rogue One, their team, maybe some other people, they need to get through to Scariff's surface, through that little gate you see ahead of yourself. You need to get through the surface. You need to get there. You need to, I don't know, save the day, I suppose, like that. But the other interesting thing about this part and the tie-in is 2 days ago or a day ago, something like that, this thing went up where TV spot where we could see the Ghost from Star Wars Rebels. What presumably looks like could be, it makes a lot of sense for it to be the Ghost ship from Star Wars Rebels hanging out in the background. Towards the bottom of the shot we saw, we're presumably taking part in this part of the movie. So presumably, if we're going to go off that, the Rebels team is going to be helping break through to Scariff's surface as well, and that's pretty cool. So, do I believe it's the Ghost? I do, because it makes perfect sense for the Ghost to be there. Do I think we'll see anything else other than that shot of the ship? No, you won't see any of the cast and characters of Rebels. You won't see any of that. They won't want to confirm what happens to any of the characters involved in Rebels in Rogue One, even if they are there, even if we do find out in a year or two's time that they are actually around during that time of Rogue One. But we're about 2 years away. Rebels is about 2 years behind the events of Rogue One currently, although we are getting pretty close. 2 years is still a lot of time, and who knows if the Rebels cast of characters we have at the moment even make it to Scariff in 2 years. So only thing I want is for them to confirm it's the Ghost, really. I just need like Pablo Hidalgo to come out and be like, it's a Ghost. And then when everyone spam messages him is like, who's on the ship, all this, just fucking ignore everything else. We don't need to know the characters there. We don't need to know why the ship's there. We don't need to know anything like that. It would be really, really nice to, instead of just playing around for years and years and on end, just confirm or deny if it is the Ghost ship or not, so you don't have people making YouTube videos after YouTube videos after YouTube videos for years trying to figure out if it is the Ghost or not. Especially if the only shot we see of that ship in the whole movie is that part we saw in the TV spot. So just confirm if it is or not, and that's it. You can let everyone go crazy with theorizing, but just confirm or not if it is the ship or not to stop everyone from bickering. Thank you, Pablo. I would highly appreciate that. So I've seen a lot of stories going around on the internet after the Scariff DLC came out, and people were saying, does it spoil anything? Does it spoil anything about Rogue One? I've seen people on Twitter being like, well, apparently the Rogue One Scariff DLC spoils Rogue One, so I guess I can't play that until after I've seen the movie. So, does it spoil anything or not? I mean, it could. I don't think it does, really. and even if it's the three-way structure of the infiltration mission is very similar to the way the movie goes, I don't see how this spoils anything that's going to happen in the movie. In fact, everything that happens in the infiltration, the new mode, and like the most story mode-esque, however you want to call it, thing related to Rogue One, it's all kind of things you can make up from a trailer anyway. So yeah, as you see, the rebels have to fight above Scariff, get through a shield barrier around the planet, because it's a huge barriers built around it with this. You have to get through this gate to get to the ship's surface. That presumably is going to happen in the film. Obviously the Rogue One team will be going down there. The rebels then have to steal data tapes. Death Star, and this is the part that everyone's getting fussy over, I think, because everyone's like, well, they're the Death Star plans. They never say they're the Death Star plans. They just solely refer to it in the map as data tapes. There's the rebels, a heap of your team later on this mission, after you actually get through to the part, you have to make your way back with these data tapes. And you actually see Jin running with one of these data tapes in the trailers on the beach of Scariff, presumably kind of like in this mission structure where they're trying to get back to the U-Wing, take off, get the fuck off the planet. What's on the data tape? Don't know. Everyone's freaking out because they're like, well, it's the Death Star plans, obviously, and so that just spoils the whole movie. And you know, we don't know if it is the Death Star plans or not. I think even if you do go watch the movie and it's the Death Star plans, I don't think playing this DLC really spoils anything for you. Me personally, I don't think they are the actual plans. They might just have information relevant, like the location of Galen Erso himself or something like that. I've just never pictured Scariff as being the big finale to the film, even if it does end up being close to it. And grabbing the plans like this, even as hard and well guarded as Scariff is, and Scariff is pretty damn well guarded with the huge shields around the barrier around the whole planet, obviously a huge Empire base here, all this, you know, you got Death Troopers, you got, you know, shit's going off. TIE Striker, presumably going to be showing up here too, because that does show up in this map mode as well. So I just never pictured, I just still don't think it's well guarded enough for the Death Star plans. For me, and that's weird, because that's saying, even with construction of the Death Star happening on Scariff, I still don't think that the plans are well guarded enough, even if this is where they're doing construction on the damn thing. I think the plan should be more protected than the thing that than what they're actually building. I'm still like, well, they should be locked up in a safe under Palpatine's feet in the throne room. No? Don't you think? No? But we shall see in due time. Then, of course, the rebels get away with the maps, the map or the data tapes, whatever it ends up being. So, no, I don't think this really spoils anything. And you can gather most of this information from the trailer anyway. If you look closely enough, you can look, and as I said, you can see Jin running with a data tape in the trailer. It's like, well, okay, is that the Death Star plans? If so, then the Death Star plans come from Scariff. You could get all that information from the trailer if you wanted to. So, no, I don't think there's any reason to worry about playing this DLC. Now, how pumped am I for Rogue One currently? Very. I was always very pumped for Rogue One, of course, but after reading Catalyst and playing some of this DLC the other day, my god, I'm so ready for this movie. It's currently like 6 to 5 sleeps away, I think, something like that, if I'm going to count, because I'll be going to a midnight release. So I'm like, well, I'll be sleeping the day and then the day, but then I won't be going to sleep, so I'll be going to midnight, so it comes a lot sooner. Yeah, I think it's like 5 sleeps away. Oh my god, 5 sleeps away. I can't wait for this fucking movie. But my excitement hit an all-time high for Rogue One after reading James Luceno's Catalyst. And I'm sure if you're a Star Wars fan, you know about Catalyst by now, and if you haven't read it, I'm sure you've heard heaps of people tell you to read this book, especially if you watch heaps of Star Wars stuff. Follow Star Wars people on Twitter, stuff like that, all kinds of things. People who love Star Wars. Catalyst is going to make Rogue One better. And the movie could already be the second best, hell, it could be the best Star Wars movie ever without the book. It could be the second best Star Wars movie ever without the book. But I'm telling you, reading that book, and of course I haven't seen the movie yet, but I'm telling you, reading this book, Catalyst, will enhance your experience of Rogue One. And it's because you get to know Galen Erso, you get to know Lyra Erso, Jin's parents, And then most importantly, you get to know the bad guy of the film, Mr. Orson Krennic. And I fucking hate. And I think this is a great thing. I think it's amazing that I can read a prequel book that, although it doesn't really offer anything that's completely necessary to the plot of the movie. I don't think there's people always worry about this thing, like with the Star Wars novels and it all been canon and all this. They're like, well, what's the moment where they put something too important in a spin-off book or an expanded universe type thing, like a Rebels or Clone Wars or any of these anime shows and comics and all this? Like, well, it's just going to piss off people who only want to watch the movies, or maybe all the books and stuff won't be good enough because they're not afraid to put too much in them. Callus is the perfect example of how you put out a book that is really important for big Star Wars fans, if you want to get into nitty-gritty, really great stuff. Yet it's not important enough that people, if you bring your mum along, or you know, something like that, you bring in the Blu-ray release because she doesn't mind watching the Star Wars films or something like that, you know, that it's not going to affect them at all. It's a perfect way to meet in the middle. But Orson Krennic, back to my point, going into a Star Wars movie with a new villain and already knowing that you hate him is great. I think that's an amazing thing that they've managed to pull off with the book Callus, because I hate Orson. I think he's a manipulative piece of shit, and I hope Vader kills him. I don't even want anyone else to kill him. I hope he pisses off Vader as much as he's pissed off me that Vader kills him in this movie, because he deserves it. And I implore you, even if we only have 5 sleeps away, 6 sleeps, or whatever you are, 7 sleeps, whenever you're going to say it, sit down, blast through his book. It's not that long. Go find a library card, I beg you. Put down the Battlefront DLC for a moment and go read this book. If you're only ever going to read one book, I think this one is really important. I think it's going to hand, especially if you're interested in kyber crystals, why the Death Star took so long to get built, although they'll obviously go over these things more in the film. If you liked any of the things about the prequels, even if you didn't like the movies themselves, but you appreciate like the political background stuff and actual story of those movies, this Rogue One touches on a lot of stuff that happened, like with plans, Geonosis, Genosians, all that stuff. Catalyst, it's a book. Now, also, I wanted to touch on the Rogue One VR experience. Now, I actually hadn't been keeping up. I didn't realize this was going to be a Rogue One tie-in. I always just assumed it was some random X-Wing mission, and they weren't going to, you know, it was just going to be like the Battlefront X-Wing mission. Never realized they renamed it or announced that it was actually going to be tied into Rogue One. So when I downloaded it, I was like, oh, Rogue One mission now, is it? I wonder if it has any story elements to do with Rogue One in it and stuff like that. And it does. But first, most importantly, if you own a PSVR and you don't own Battlefront, find Battlefront on a sale somewhere, buy it, and just get it for this VR experience. Because if you love Star Wars, oh my god, it's like a it's a Jesus-like experience. It's a godlike experience. It's unexplainable. How good it felt to be flying around in an X-Wing. How good it felt. It was amazing. I want to do it again soon. I've only gone through it once. You can go through it again, of course. It takes about 20 minutes. I think it took me like 17 minutes. I do have this full Let's Play thing up on my other channel, VIVALADIl TV, that you can watch. But that's... I don't want to say too much. I don't want to spoil. I want to quickly go discussing the story implications, elements of the experience though. And it does have a short, kind of interesting story to it. It's not like you just get randomly jumped into a bunch of TIE fighters in front of you and they just go shoot everyone. You have to rescue K2SO, who's stranded somehow, and there's an important passenger on board. That's all we know. K2, there could be more people on board the U-Wing, the U-Rescue in there, but you only ever hear K2SO talk to you, and he only ever mentions having one other passenger on board, as far as I heard. Now, I could go through it again and be like, I'm full of shit. Nothing I'm saying makes sense. But that's all I got. Because it was hard, I kept getting sidetracked by stuff, and I'm trying to make a video and be entertaining while I kept stopping talking to listen to K2SO. But at the end of it, at the end of the experience, though, you finally hear him refer to the passenger as a her. And they make things like, well, I hope the passenger's important, and he's like, well, I hope she is too. Now, Could this be Jin? Could this just be after, just after they've rescued Jin, as we see in the trailers? She's locked up in Empire Prison or something like that. Could this be Jin being rescued? Could this be set, you know, about a quarter of the way through the Rogue One film? Could this be set before Rogue One or after Rogue One? And could the passenger be Leia? Could it be Princess herself? Could it be the Princess of Alderaan? Maybe she's getting taken. I don't know. Maybe they give her the plans, but she gets beamed the plans. There's lots of interesting things going on. But of course, we will have less than a week to wait now, guys, or a week. Not long to wait, and we shall soon find out. And it'll be interesting to come back to all these things, of course, that we've got happening now, that we don't know about, including the Rogue One Scariff DLC. It'll be fun to go back and actually play that map again once we've seen the film and see how everything happens on that planet. It's always more interesting to play on a Star Wars map in these Battlefront games when you actually know, right? The Jakku map came out before I watched Force Awakens. I had fun playing Jakku. I was like, oh man, that's probably the ship from Lost Stars off in the distance there. That's awesome. That was my connection to that map. Playing it after I seen the Force Awakens, I was like, oh, this is cooler because now I know the planet. Same, I'm like, Scariff seems like a cool planet, beach planet. I like seeing all these shore troopers running around, shooting them in the face and stuff, but I don't really have any movie connection to it yet. I want to get that movie connection, come back and check out the map again, get to see the U-Wings, get to feel more epic doing the run through the shields with the U-Wings at the start of the infiltration mission. That will be great. And of course, going back and playing that VR mission once we've seen the film again, and hopefully understanding who is the passenger on that ship. Is it Jyn Erso? Has she been rescued by KTUS? Or is there other people on the ship that we just don't hear about? Or is it someone else entirely that we don't know? Is it just no one? Is it some random important, I don't know. Or is it Princess? Is it Princess Leia herself? And that would be the most interesting thing, wouldn't it? And that's the question people wonder about the most. What's going to happen in the next movie? We don't know. I'm going to try and write up, last year, before The Force Awakens, I wrote up some kind of, you know, what I think is going to happen in the movie, all this kind of things, like predictions and stuff like that. I'm going to try and do some stuff like that this week. I'm thinking I might do a video about it, might just write some articles, might do both. I'm thinking I'll try and get up an article, predictions for Rogue One, and then do a video mainly about how I think the film will start or something like that. So you can head over to www.vivaladil.com where you'll find all those things, because they'll all be there. And then you can also head over to the other channel, as I mentioned before, VIVALADIl TV. That's where the VR mission thing is there. Or of course you can find your way from vivaladil.com. And just like a week away, guys. Just like a week away until Rogue One. I can't wait to see this damn movie!
Look alive! TIE fighters incoming!